Hey everyone, RoamFree Consultants back with you for another video. Today we're going to be looking at this EDC pocket survival kit I put together using an Altoids tin. Just any generic, metal Altoids tin will do. You'd be surprised how many things you can actually fit in there. We'll go ahead and bust this open, take a look at some of the contents and some of the things that I recommend to carry. And yeah, let's look at it, see what we got. Take off this rubber band. Usually I've got this kind of sealed up with some electrical tape wrapped around the edges just to try to help keep it a little more water resistant. For the purposes of the video today, I took those off. But first thing, here on the outside of the container, I keep a good amount of duct tape, a bunch of pieces of duct tape kind of torn off and stuck on the bottom. A million uses for duct tape to help patch things up and make repairs. All right, let's go ahead and pop this thing open. So right off the bat here, you can see I've got a couple cotton balls. These are great to be used for, fire starting as fire tinder. Also first aid uses that can be applied. Always good to have a couple cotton balls. They take up no space, compress down in that container really well. All right, another kind of bonus item, it just fits inside of there, is this saw blade. This one can be used for both metal and wood. A lot of uses for a good saw blade for cutting through objects. It fits in there just so. It's always good to have something like that if you need to cut something a little more heavy duty than the other cutting instrument I've got in here that we'll take a look at. All right. Also on the subject of fire tinder, I've got this here, this compressed cotton material that's also got kind of a Vaseline material mixed in with it. Really good for fire starting, kind of break this up, fray it up a little bit, use with those cotton balls. Definitely some good fire tinder. All right, next up, I've got a small fishing kit that I put together. I've got some bait in there, some hooks, some fishing lines, some weights, a couple swivels. Hardly takes up any space again. This compresses really well. Fits in there nice. Always good to have a little fishing kit. All right, next up, a little bit of needle and thread action going on there in case you need to make any repairs to any clothing or any gear out in the field. Good to have on you, very convenient as part of everyday carry to be able to make repairs. All right. Next up here, I've got a small Bic lighter. This is one of the Bic minis. And it's pretty hard to replace a good Bic lighter. Ferro rods are great, matches are great. I've actually got some matches in here we'll take a look at, but hard to beat the simplicity and the convenience of a good Bic lighter. All right, here I've got a pack of iodized salt. This could be mixed with some of your water if you're low on salt or dehydrated. Another good addition here would probably be some electrolyte powder, like a Gatorade powder, something like that you could pair up with that. That's something I'll look into. All right, next here, got a striker for some of these matches we're gonna take a look at. Nice to have a good dedicated striker that are paired up with your matches. And in here, I've got 3 of these really good survival matches. Pretty hard to beat a good match. These ones will burn even when wet. You've seen them videos, I'm sure, where they burn underwater. Always nice to have a good quality match. And I got 3 of them to fit in there, no problem. All right, and the last bit on the fire starting side is just a basic birthday candle. Again, takes up hardly any space at all. You never know when you might need a candle to help get that fire going. All right, back to cutting instruments here. I've got just a basic razor blade. This lies in there really flat. I used it up against kind of the back wall there, good for cutting things up. This paired with that saw blade we looked at a little earlier makes for a really good system for cutting things up. All right, here for cordage, I've got a little bit of bank line. This stuff is plenty strong. It's not quite full on 550 cord, paracord, but bank line will help tie up, repair things. Could be used, to help with setting up a shelter, setting up a tarp. A lot of uses for bank line. Can't go wrong there with good cordage. All right. Next up here, got a little packet of some Tylenol and ibuprofen, a couple of each. Again, takes up hardly any space. Good to have on you. Got a couple safety pins. A lot of uses for safety pins. Again, repairing gear, first aid. If you need to make a fish hook on the fly, you can definitely do that. And the same can be said for a paper clip. Again, takes up hardly any weight, hardly any space. A lot of improvised things can be made out of a good quality paper clip. All right. Next up here, we've got just a basic number 2 pencil. This one's cut way down and sharpened. I've got the eraser on the other end. Helpful for taking notes, you're writing down locations, leaving notes behind for others. A lot of uses for a pencil. And of course, with any pencil, good to have some paper. Again, this could be used for leaving notes, writing messages, writing down coordinates, things like that. It can also be used as fire tinder in a pinch as well. Okay, a couple more first aid items here. Got just some basic band-aids. Can't go wrong with good old classic band-aids for repairing minor cuts and scrapes. To go along with that, got some bacitracin ointment, kind of like a Neosporin. Again, good to prevent infection. Just a basic first aid item that, again, hardly takes up any space, super light. All right, also an alcohol swab. Again, first aid, cleaning solution. Also good for fire starting if you ever need in a pinch. That alcohol will take off, no problem on that prep pad. All right, this next one might seem kind of odd to some of you, but I promise there's a lot of good uses that go with that. We've got a condom here. This can be used for carrying water if you need in a pinch. You can be surprised, you can actually carry quite a bit of water in one of these. They'll expand a lot. You can either use one of these or like a good quality balloon, something like that. But if you need to carry water for long distances, hard to beat that. And to go along with it, got a couple aqua tabs here. Can be used to purify water. So if you're carrying water, just a good solution to chemically treat that water, make sure it's safe to drink. All right, getting down to the last couple items here. Just a couple good quality nails. A lot of uses for these as well. If you need to use it almost like an awl to help poke a hole into something, or if you're setting up a shelter, need a place to tie off that bank line. A lot of good uses for nails. Again, they take up hardly any space. Very useful item. Q-tip, again, kind of a first aid option here. You can use the cotton ends if you need for fire starting material. Get something cleaned out. A lot of uses for a Q-tip. All right, finally, that leaves the container itself. Got a little bit more duct tape inside. The container itself, as you can see, kind of the flash, can be used for signaling if you needed to in a pinch. You can also use this container, put a cotton material inside, set it on your fire to make char cloth if you need to make more fire starting material. Also just a good container, water resistant if you kind of tape up those edges to help seal it. Nice to have. You could boil water in this even if you had to. A lot of uses for an Altoids container. Some of the things I might add to this in the future is some aluminum foil, maybe a small mirror for first aid or signaling. But yeah, that's all I've got in there for now, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you'd like to support the channel and see more content like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And stay prepared, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.